Hi guys, we made it to Unit 5. Lesson 2, Area of Rectangles and Triangles. So, the definition of area is the amount of space taken up by a two-dimensional figure. So like even if we were just to look at this rectangle right here, right? And if I were to scribble it all in, right? And we're looking at how much area or how much space is that it takes up, okay? So in this lesson, we're going to focus on two different shapes. We've got rectangles and triangles, okay? So squares, we're going to talk about them as well, but technically they're just like a special type of rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is found by multiplying the base times the height of the rectangle, or sometimes you might see it as length times width. So in this case, we've got a 2 by 3 rectangle, right? Multiply those together, we get 6 square units, okay? Because technically you're doing like units times units, and when you multiply something by itself, you're squaring it, okay? So whenever you're talking about area, your units are always squared. The area of a square is found by taking the side and squaring it, right? So because they always have the same side lengths, you just multiplying one number by itself, okay? So in this case, like I have a 2 by 2 square, 2 times 2 is 4, so we've got 4 square units. For triangles, okay, now triangles, their formula for area is 1/2 times the base times the height. Now, and the reason for that is because technically you could turn any triangle, like if you doubled it, okay, so if I doubled it, then now I've created something called a parallelogram. And parallelogram is another quadrilateral, a four-sided figure, kind of like a rectangle, but it can be slanted like that. And for the formula of the area of a parallelogram, right, or a rectangle, is base times height. Well, so if a triangle is half that, then we just take half the area. All right, so in this case, we've got 1/2 times 4 times 3. So my base was 4, my height was 3. So if I have 1/2 times 4, well, half of 4 is 2, multiplied by 3 is 6. So in this case, we would have 6 units squared. Okay? So let's look at some examples from your practice and your quick check. All right, this first one is number 3 from your practice. It says, students in a summer art class paint a rectangular mural. The shorter side of the mural measures 5 yards, the longer side measures 3 yards, longer than the shorter side. How many square yards is the mural's area? Okay, so we got to pay attention to what they're actually asking us. The shorter side of the mural, all right, so I'm just going to draw a rectangle. I have no idea if this is like accurate or not, but the shorter side is 5 yards. The longer side measures 3 yards longer than the short side. So the longer side is the short side plus 3 more, or 8 yards. Okay, so now that we know that, now we can go ahead and find the area. All right, they were kind of trying to trick us there. So area is equal to base times height, which in this case would be 8 times 5, which is 40, and our units were yards, and they should be squared. So that would be our final answer. Okay? So, there's that one. I was going to say, oh, that's what I was going to say. And the order of these doesn't matter. 8 times 5 is the same thing as 5 times 8. So if you would put 5 times 8, no big deal. So just keep that in mind too. Number 2, this is number 4 on your practice. What is the area in square centimeters of the triangle pictured here? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so the reason why I chose this one is because this triangle looks a little funky. Okay, so the base of the triangle is this here. It's this 9, and the height is 7. Now you might think like, well, how come this isn't the height? Well, because it's slanted, right? Think about when you get your height measured at the doctor's office, they ask you to stand up straight and tall, right? And notice that's where this 7 is, all right? That's the nice straight and tall one. Height is measured from the opposite vertex perpendicular to the base. Perpendicular means that right angle there, okay? So keep that in mind. But the area of a triangle is found by doing 1/2 times the base times the height. So in this case, we'd have 1/2 times 9 times 7. So half of 9 I know is 4 5/10. And then times 7, I don't know. I'm going to use a calculator. Let's see here. Where's my calculator? There we go. 4.5 times 7, that gives us 31.5. It said to round to the nearest tenth. Awesome, that's where we already are. And so then, let's see, what were they? Centimeters. So they would be centimeters squared. Okay? All right, one more. This is number 4 on your quick check. Okay. Marigold measures the length and height of a triangular sandwich. If the sandwich's base measures 4 inches and the area measures 7 square inches, what is the height of the sandwich? What a funky question, right? That's such a silly example that they are asking of us, but that's okay. Okay, so we know it's a triangle. All right, we know that the area is equal to 1/2 the base times the height in a triangle. Well, they gave us the area. They said that that was 7 square inches. So I can plug that straight into my equation. 1/2 stays as 1/2. The base measures 4 inches. So 4, we are looking for the height. All right, so let's see. We can do 1/2 times 4. So 7 times 7 equals, and then half of 4 is 2. Okay, divide by 2, right? Because I'm looking for the height. I'm trying to get the height by itself. So the height is equal to, and half of 7 is 3.5. So the height of the sandwich would be 3.5 inches. Okay? All right, guys, as always, let me know if you need more help, and otherwise have a great day.